Hello, I'm Haley Quarles, and this is my midterm video for what I've learned so far this semester. I do apologize in advance for any sniffling or nose rubbing that I do. I'm a little bit sick. Um, so what I really wanted to talk about today were the marketing aspect of business and my old job, mainly jumping into the management styles and theories that they really operated under, as well as the ethics and morals kind of deal with it. So, I guess jumping right in, the part of business that has always been really interesting to me has been the number side, really, like accounting, budget projections, that type of deal. Like, how do you go about knowing what you're going to be making, like projecting that kind of information and like what you need to be putting out in order to make a profit, all of that. But after our marketing chapters, I'm honestly thinking about changing my focus from accounting and that to marketing. Our book defines marketing as the activity, set of institutions and processes for creating, communicating, delivering, and exchanging offers. Sorry, that is my toddler. So communicating, delivering, and exchanging offerings with value for customers, clients, partners, and society at large. This definition alone made me realize that businesses are not only marketing to the general public, but also to other businesses and large corporations. There are two different markets, two different markets, the consumer market and the business-to-business market. The consumer market includes all of the individuals or households that want goods and services for personal consumption or use, and the business-to-business market includes manufacturers, retailers, government, and institutions such as hospitals, schools, and nonprofits. There are big differences in how you tailor your marketing to each. The most differences reside in the consumer market. There are many ways to segment this, and market segmentation means dividing the total market into groups whose members have similar characteristics so that you can better target your audience. There's geographic segmentation, which is dividing the market by cities, counties, states, or regions. Demographic segmentation, which is dividing the group's values, attitudes, and interests. Benefit segmentation, dividing the market by which benefits of the product you should talk about. And volume or usage segmentation, dividing the market by the volume of use. There are also different types of marketing based on the size of the audience that you're trying to reach. Niche marketing for the smaller but profitable markets, and mass marketing for products and services that appeal to larger groups of people. Regardless of the size or segment type you are trying to market to, it's important to appeal to the consumer decision-making process. This is the process by which a consumer makes the decision to purchase a product or service. It has 5 steps, those being the problem recognition, information search, evaluating alternatives, the decision to purchase your product or service, and post-purchase evaluation. This process is affected by learning, culture, subculture, cognitive dissonance, reference group, and many other things. With so many cultural, generational, and general differences between the different market categories, it's next to impossible to appeal to everyone at the same time. So it's doing your research as a company to find out which markets would be the most successful is vital to running a thriving business. It's not only about the product or service you're offering, but who you are as a company as well now. What you stand for, your ethics and morals as a company, and so on. While it's mostly about the 4 Ps, product, price, place, and promotion, we're also living in an era where a company's CSR are becoming almost as important as the product they're providing. Social audits are growing in popularity to monitor organizations and progress towards implementing socially responsible and responsive programs, and the everyday consumer is taking on more of a watchdog role. There are 5 types of watchdogs: socially conscious investors, socially conscious research organizations, environmentalists, union officials, and customers. Social media apps have made it easier for customers to act in a watchdog role, as sharing unethical or immoral company activity is now easier than ever. In addition to being able to share these practices, they're also able to share their experience with other customers. Therefore, a company's social media presence is more important now than ever before. In the customer relationship era we currently find ourselves in, it's incredibly important to build a long-lasting relationship with our customers by doing everything we can to satisfy or exceed their expectations. Having strong social media presence not only gets your company information into the world in an easily available format, but makes customer service even easier by gaining quick customer feedback and providing another avenue to provide customer service. So the next topic that I wanted to touch on was my most recent job. I don't want to get too much into the negative experiences I had there because I want this to be about what I've learned about the business world, obviously, and not my grievances with this company. But while I was there, I learned quite a bit about how not to run a business. And in this class, I've learned alternatives to kind of fix the problems that they had there. So I worked for a locally owned restaurant and recently left this establishment after 1 year of employment. While working there, I held almost every position that they had in what they call front of house, being the hostesses and the servers, bartenders, and the back of house, that being dishwasher, prep cook, line cook, and eventually working my way up to a sous chef position, which is essentially a assistant manager, but really only managing food. So working in so many positions in this company really gave me a really well-rounded view of what we had to deal with on a regular basis, whether it be like dealing with customers in the front of house or dealing with really management and front of house employees in the back of house. So I feel like I got a really good view of what that is. So this semester so far, we have at one point learned about Herzberg's motivating factors. The research for these factors was really centered around the question, what creates enthusiasm for workers and makes them work to their fullest potential? Herzberg found that content factors were the most important, meaning that employees like to feel as though they're contributing to a company. I found this to be true in my work environment while being employed there. My fellow employees were the most content when creating a daily special to serve or helping come up with marketing ideas for upcoming sports seasons. That being, they were most satisfied with what they were doing and the happiest in their work environment when providing something for the business. It was really fun to see this change, as a majority of the time the company operated with a fear as its main motivator, which created an incredibly stressful and unpleasant environment. A lot of the management believed that employees, whether front of house or back of house, disliked work and would do anything they could to avoid it. Their mindset aligned with McGregor's Theory X, and I believe this is what prompted their forceful and controlling management style. There were some people that honestly didn't like their job and did everything they could to avoid work while there, which honestly is going to be true of any entry-level position where you're working with people like, well, honestly, like, I'm sorry, but high schoolers that don't really necessarily have financial responsibilities outside of home and everything like that. It's just something that you're going to find everywhere. But many of the people that I work with honestly loved what they did and were excited to contribute every day. Their mindsets actually aligned with McGregor's Theory Y. Because management styles didn't align with the employees, we had an incredibly high turnover rate. In the time that I was there in that year, we went through about 3 complete crews, I want to say, that we had to go through and retrain and everything, and it made business incredibly difficult, which really highlights the importance of getting a good team of employees and keeping those employees. It's so much harder to retrain a team than it is to like over and over again than it is to get a good solid team and keep them happy and motivated. Instead of motivating from a position of control and fear, the employees there should have been motivated by the job itself. The emphasis placed on skill variety, task significance, autonomy, and feedback would have been much better received, meaning we should have been operating from a position of job enrichment. So managers really needed to be trained to listen, and barriers to open communication needed to be removed. In addition to this, I wholeheartedly believe that HR needed to be removed and created as a different position than your direct manager. In my position, in the kitchen, there were many things that went directly against company policy, but no one necessarily to report grievances to. That wasn't directly related to the problem. In a section of Chapter 12, we learned about drug abuse and drug testing. Before reading this chapter, I would have thought that marijuana was the most abused drug in the workplace, but after working in this kitchen and reading this chapter, I now know that alcohol is. There were a lot of situations where employees would either show up drunk or drink on the job, and in addition to this, bullying was a very big problem in the kitchen, and this goes directly against company policies. The problem was our HR manager was the head chef, and he was the biggest contributor to on-the-job drinking and bullying of fellow employees. Having your HR manager be the person that's creating the toxic environment and directly in charge of whether or not you continue to work there isn't exactly a good company practice. In order to have an effective HR department, employees need to feel safe and secure enough to file grievances and know that they aren't going to face negative repercussions because of sharing these things with management. So that really was a majority of the issue that I found while working there. And it's been very interesting to me, especially now that I don't work there anymore, kind of hearing some outside stories and everything from people, how the environment has changed once getting a new head chef that has completely different management styles and everything, and seeing because I still do frequent this restaurant as a customer, seeing the mindset of the employees and everything with different HR practices and everything implemented. It's just a testament to how your management styles really need to align with what your employees' mindsets are as well. It's important to make your employees feel like they're needed and like they're contributing, and in order to have a happy team that is going to stay. All right, so we've obviously been over much more than that this semester, but that is really what has stuck out to me as the most interesting. Just HR in general is not something that I thought would be so interesting to me, but like learning about, I guess, the psychology behind the different management styles and the different theories of employee work ethic in general is really interesting and kind of cool, seeing in a work environment the different ways that you can kind of see that function in your fellow employees, and being in a management position previously, how different employees are motivated by different factors. So I guess like learning more technical terms behind it and seeing a broader approach to the different styles and everything was really interesting this semester. So yeah, that's my video, and I look forward to learning more. Thank you.